Hi everyone, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Anita Vandyke. I am a rocket scientist, so I did aeronautical space engineering, and then I transitioned to become a medical doctor, and I am an author and also mum as well. And what I want to talk to you about today is this concept of plastic-free living, but arranging it in a way that is categorized into good, better, and best. And I just want to run you through the structure of the webinar today, which is firstly, I'm going to talk about my own personal story of how I got to this journey of what I call living a truly zero waste life. And then talk about in those elements, why is plastic so bad? And then I'll go into what we can do about it along the framework of good, better, and best. And in those different categories, I want to talk about food. I want to talk about things you can change in your bathroom, things you can do around beauty, things you can do about cleaning, and also things you can do when you're out and about in the world. And so this webinar will be approximately about 30 minutes. And then I'll hand the floor back to you where you can ask me some questions at the end, and I'll attempt to answer as many as I can. So let's start from the beginning. So how did I get started on this kind of environmental journey? And I have to be honest with you, I was not an environmentalist from the beginning. I didn't grow up with a hippie mum. I didn't have a passion for the environment. For me, actually, environmentalism came out of economics. So I want to talk you back to the journey of where all this began. When I talk about economics, I talk about actually the frugality of living a zero waste life or living a plastic-free life. And I had to do this because at the age of 27, I had climbed the corporate ladder, right? I had climbed this corporate ladder. I was a manager in a large engineering firm, earning more money than my immigrant parents ever had. But I then had this almost surreal out-of-body experience where I looked at my boss, my big boss, and the big boss. And I said to myself, is this it? Is this who I'm going to be in 5, 10, 15 years' time? And the resounding answer was no, no, no. Because at the time, I was basing my values on power, success, status, and money. And none of those things were actually giving me the happiness that I was craving. So I went back to grassroots. And my husband at the time said to me, you've got to quit your job and find out what's meaningful to you. And that's what I did. At age 27, I went through this journey. I'm 35 now, and I still continue this journey of living in alignment with my values, finding meaningful work and what it means to me. And through that journey, I had to quit my job, and I learned to make ends meet on one income. So I went back into my immigrant roots where my parents and our parents, obviously, and our great-grandparents and our grandparents didn't live in a generation where plastic is everywhere like it is now. They had an attitude of saving food, using what they had, living within their means, and a make, do, and mend attitude. And by rediscovering all of that, I actually became an environmentalist along the way. Because along that time, I actually found a new gained respect and appreciation for what it means to be not wasting any of our resources, including time, money, environmental resources as well. This is where I want to talk about why plastic is so bad. During that time, I actually met with Dr. Sylvia Earle at the Sydney Opera House. She is an original aquanaut. So she, over her 50-year career, has dived through the depths of our oceans at every single layer. And she has seen the change over the 50 years. And what she said was absolutely shocking to me. She said, in the beginning, 50 years ago, plastic wasn't everywhere like it was now. But now diving to the depths of the ocean, she could see that plastic is at every layer of the ocean. In fact, by 2050, there'll be more plastic in the sea than fish, right? I want you to remember that. More plastic in the sea than fish. Plastic, as we know, is made out of petroleum, which is, a non-renewable resource that we're digging out of the ground. Also, plastic can't be recycled. It's actually downcycled, unlike other materials such as glass and aluminium. So plastic is downcycled where, firstly, it can be a high quality plastic that's recycled once, but then as it further gets recycled down the chain, it actually gets downcycled and it can't be recycled any further. So it sits in landfill. In fact, every single piece of plastic that has ever been created is still on the planet in some form or another, okay? So this is why I wanted to do this webinar. This webinar is not about, making huge sacrifices or making you feel guilty. It's about making sustainability accessible. It's about making sustainability achievable for the everyday person. And that's why I want to introduce you a new kind of activism, and I call it the everyday activists. And that's you and me, where we can make small changes along the way that can make a huge cumulative difference. And I want to start by saying the phrase, sustainability has to be sustainable for you, right? I'm going to repeat that. Sustainability has to be sustainable for you. So that's why I want to do this good, better, and best method through all the different areas of the home and also in your life, so that you can mix and match different methods according to where you are at in your stage of your life. So personally, if you follow me on rocket_science, which is my Instagram page, some people will know that I am now a widow. My late husband passed away from cancer earlier this year. So as you can imagine, my adherence to plastic-free living or living environmentally is not as high as it was before. But that doesn't mean that I can't come back and do more as I gain more time and as I gain more passage through this grief process. So I want to reassure you that this journey is not about being the best environmentalist. This journey is not about making you feel guilty or about sacrifice. It's about doing what you can and just leaving a gentler footprint on the planet. And that's it. Okay, so on that note, I want to start with the food. Okay, so food is one of the easiest ways to start on your plastic-free journey. And the easiest way to think about this is to consider your ins and your outs, okay? So when you are considering food, I want you to go on your plastic-free July journey today. The first thing I want you to do is consider your outs. So put on your reusable gloves and do a bin audit, okay? Look in your rubbish bin, look in your trash can, look at what you're actually throwing away and do an audit on it. Is it takeaway containers? Are you throwing away food scraps? Are you throwing away lots of clothing tags because you buy a lot of fashion? Whatever it is, to do that audit, you can then see what you're throwing out, so you can then change those habits and consider how you can change those habits by considering your ins. Now, one of the most common things that we throw away is actually food or food packaging. So I want to break that down. In terms of food, what I would suggest you do is what I call the go naked method. So when you're out shopping and you're going to do your grocery shopping, a good way to start is actually just shopping the outer aisles of the supermarket. That's where the fresh produce is, right? And Mother Nature has really created her own packaging for most of the fresh produce that you need. So it's a good option to start. If you find that you want to elevate that with your food, a better option is going to the farmers markets and bringing your own bags, and also choosing an organic delivery box that allows you to reuse and recycle the cardboard packaging that it comes in. That's a better option as well. Now, if you find that you want to go into the best option, which is a totally plastic-free option, one thing you can consider is bringing your own containers to the deli and butchers. What they do is they can weigh the container, tar it, so make it zero, and then you can ask them to fill your containers with the produce that you want. This allows you to have zero plastic packaging. Another option is going to the bulk food store and doing the same thing, bringing your own packaging and allowing yourself to tar the jars and then having no packaging whatsoever. Now, amongst all that, you might say, look, I don't have access to a bulk store, or COVID's preventing me from bringing my own bags or jars. What I suggest you do is a good option is actually consider shopping the discounted section of the supermarket. A good option of that might be looking at, there's a lot of, sustainable meats, a lot of cheap, organic vegetables that are close to its use by date. Consider buying that and sourcing your weekly shop or, fortnightly shop from those areas. And then that way you're preventing food waste, okay? And also you're preventing waste from going into landfill, which contributes to methane gas. Another better option is also bringing things such as produce bags. So a produce bag is a very lightweight bag that you can buy or make yourself from cloth, and you can then bring those along to put your loose leaf lettuce or loose leaf salad or your mushrooms or whatever, and you can reuse that again and again. And obviously, don't forget your actual shopping bags, right? Mostly in Australia now, plastic shopping bags are what we call banned, and you have to buy them for 15 cents. So you can save money and also save the environment at the same time. Don't forget your shopping bags. A tip for this is, if you do forget your shopping bags, is to actually leave a set in your boot of your car so that you'll never forget it and you'll always have it handy with you. And that's a really easy tip. Now, in terms of also your food, you have to shop mindfully. So for me, I like to make a list. I like to shop my pantry first, see what I have there, and eat down my stores. So those 3 tips are a really good way to prevent food waste. So make a list, shop your pantry, and eat down your stores. Those are a really good way. Another tip I like to do is actually put an eat me first box in the top of the fridge. And this box is what you can label, just eat first, and allow everyone in the household to know that you can put, half a banana or half an avocado or whatever it is, or anything that's close to its use by date, put it in that box so that everyone in the household can eat from that box first. And this allows you to prevent food waste. And finally, considering your outs. Now, if you do have food waste, whether it be peels or whatever, skins or whatever, a lot of this time can be made into, vegetable stock. So you can freeze it and make it into vegetable stock. If you do have to throw it out, consider composting it, okay? Composting is a great way to prevent methane gas from going into the atmosphere and going into landfill. And there's lots of different options for composting. It could be creating a worm farm. It could be creating a bokashi bin, which is a fermentation process. It's a small fermentation bin that you can use for small homes, and composting itself. When I lived in a small apartment, one of the things I did was use a website called sharewaste.com. And this allowed me to see where local community gardens were, local compost bins were, that allowed me to take my compost, which I put in the freezer or in the fridge once a week, and I just take it down to the local community gardens once a week. As simple as that. You don't even have to maintain it yourself. So that's an easy tip there. Okay, so that kind of sums up my element of discussing about food options. And now what I want to talk about is going into the bathroom or discussing beauty. Now, the good option is, firstly, what I say, use it up. Use up what you have first before you buy anything new. So as part of this plastic-free July month, what I suggest is you go into your bathroom, get a little container, and look at all the items that you're using. Put them in a box, things that have been sitting there collecting dust, and consider alternative methods of using it, or giving it away, or just using it up before you buy anything new. So alternative methods of using things up could be, if you have a body wash that you don't like, you can use it as a hand wash, right? Or you can use it to wash your dog, whatever you want. It's a simple solution there. Another option is to give it away to friends and family, okay? Because a lot of people might want things that you might not need to use anymore. And then finally, when you do need to buy something new, the better option is to consider plastic-free options such as bar soaps, okay? So in the bathroom, you can virtually have a replaceable option using a bar option that comes in either cardboard or no packaging at all for virtually everything. So I like to use bar shampoo, bar conditioner, bar face wash, and also bar body wash, okay? And those are some easy solutions for you to do in the home that allows you to do an easy switch as well. And the bars are very inexpensive, usually less than $10, and last way longer than the plastic containers that you have in the shower or in the bathroom. Now, the best option is now to consider if you can do a DIY option. So can you make it yourself? One of the things I love to make is my miracle oil cleanser, and I'll give you the recipe for that now. For most people, oil cleansers are quite expensive, $30 for a container like this, and it's used to cleanse your skin in a very gentle way. It even removes waterproof makeup, and I use it every day. So what I do is I fill 1/3 jojoba oil, and then I fill it with then the rest of it with hemp oil or avocado seed oil or a gentle oil that you have in your pantry. Shake it up, mix it together, and I put it in a little pump bottle that I've reused, and then I wash my face with it. It cleanses all my makeup, and then I wipe it off with a damp, warm face cloth, and that's it. You know, this is a really fun recipe for you to try at home. It's been really gentle for my skin and has really helped in terms of texture, fine lines, and also the overall hydration of my skin. No longer am I stripping away with these kind of strong chemicals. I'm using a very gentle kind of cleanser, and it's really helped. And so that's what I want you to do. The best option in terms of beauty or bathroom is try to make it yourself. Another great thing that I like to use is Castile soap. Castile soap is something you can get at your local bulk store, or what I like to do is actually grate a Castile soap bar, put it in a big pot of hot boiling water, and decant it into containers, which I can then reuse, and it's a very easy solution. Castile soap in different dilutions can be used for hand soap, can use for body wash. It can be even used as shampoo, and then you can finish it off with an apple cider vinegar conditioner as well. So Castile soap is like, my turn to for everything. And it's so easy because you can buy Castile soap bars virtually from every supermarket or health food store. And one soap bar can make, liters and liters and liters of Castile soap. And this is kind of like my life hack for everything. I use it, and it's very gentle on the skin as well. And it's also a great way to clean every surface of your home. You can use it as an all-purpose cleaner as well if you put it in a spray bottle, and there's different dilutions for everything. And then finally, I want to talk about the cleaning. So I've touched on Castile soap itself, right? Another cleaner that I like to use is white vinegar. So there's 3 things that I use for cleaning: Castile soap, white vinegar, and bicarb soda. Those are the 3 things that I use in my home for cleaning. This white vinegar can be refilled at your local bulk store. So you can get it as a refillable option or plastic-free option, or you can get it, white vinegar commonly comes in glass jars as well. The great thing about white vinegar is that it can be used for so many things. It can be used as a natural fabric deodorizer that you can add to your washing. It can be used as a cleaner. So if you put white vinegar and you soak some citrus rinds in it, that can be used as a gentle all-purpose cleaner. It can be used to wash your floors. It can be used as a natural kind of deodorizer, disinfectant for a lot of your surfaces. And if you don't like the smell, what I suggest is adding a few drops of essential oils, and you have, your own DIY cleaner that you can use for a lot of different purposes. And finally, the last thing I like to use for cleaning is bicarb soda. Bicarb soda, you can make a paste out of it with water or coconut oil, and that can be used as so if you use it with coconut oil, and bicarb soda, that can be reused to remove labels from jars. That's a really good way to remove labels from jars. If you make a bicarb paste out of water and bicarb soda, you can use it as a stain remover as well. And it's a really great multi-purpose item that allows you to, reduce your waste in so many ways. And that's the cleaning aspect of it. There's a very easy way to reduce your waste in that way. And remember, a good option is to actually reuse the pump spray bottles that you have. You don't need to throw them away. You can reuse them because they can be repurposed to make your own DIY cleaner. And they can be then reused and reused again until it can't be used any longer. That's a great way to use what you have before you buy anything new. Okay. Now, we've only got a few more minutes because I am conscious of the time. So the last thing I want to talk about before I hand it back to the floor and answer some of your questions is what I call a zero waste kit. Okay. Now, a zero waste kit allows you to reduce your waste when you're out and about. Okay. And this little kit I put in a little bag like this, which I can put in my handbag or backpack or even in my car, and it allows me to reduce my waste when I'm out and about. Now, the 4 most common things found in beachside cleanups. So these are the most common forms of plastic found when people are doing beachside cleanups is firstly, plastic drink bottles, okay? Plastic drink bottles can be replaced by getting a collapsible drink bottle like I have now, or just any drink bottle that you may have. And it's a really good option to prevent you from buying plastic bottles when you're out and about. If you want a budget option, you can just reuse a glass jar, okay? You don't even need to buy one. You can just reuse a glass jar and that can be your water bottle. Simple as that. I like this collapsible one because it allows me to hook it onto my bag or, refill it when I'm out and about. And it's a great travel one as well. So that's the first option. It saves you money and prevents plastic bottles. Second thing that's most commonly found in beachside cleanups is takeaway coffee cups, okay? And this is part of the Plastic Free July initiative at the end of the month that we're trying to eliminate that as much as we can, okay? This month, instead of saying yes to the takeaway cup, choose the 2 options of 1, sitting down and enjoying your coffee, or secondly, bring your own reusable coffee cup. Once again, this is collapsible. There's a theme here. I do like collapsible things, but this is because as a doctor, I'm running about a lot. So I can put this in the top pocket of my scrub pocket. It acts as my water. I can just go to the local tap and get some water during the day. It also allows me to get my coffee and tea in this cup when I'm ready to go. And the great thing about these coffee cups, reusable coffee cups, is that they can be used as little takeaway containers as well. So if you are getting your morning pastry and you don't finish a croissant, you can pop it in. Okay, this is your little takeaway cup, and you can have your croissant later. You can put nuts, you can put fruit in it. It can be your little takeaway, snack pack as you go along the day as well. So there's so many ways to use your reusable coffee cup more than just for coffee and tea. Now, the third thing that's most commonly found in beachside cleanups is plastic bags. And here I have a foldable tote bag, which allows me to never forget my tote bag. So instead of saying yes to another 15-cent plastic bag, which takes hundreds and hundreds of years to break down, just choose a reusable option, right? You can make your own, you can choose a foldable one like this, or as sometimes I like to do, I just use my hands. I use my hands, I put it in my pockets, put it in my handbag, whatever I can to avoid a plastic bag. If you find that you really forget your bags, another option is asking the staff if you can take a box. So a cardboard box that can be reused or recycled and put all your groceries in there. And the final thing that is most commonly found on beachside cleanups is plastic straws. Now, plastic straws, there's a great alternative, and it's something that's quite profound and something that we all have, and that's called a mouth. It's as simple as that. Most of us can just use a mouth. We don't need a plastic straw. Okay, it's a luxury to have a plastic straw. But if you do find that you need a plastic straw because you want to keep your lipstick fresh, or you have a young child, or you're caring for someone with a disability, just use a reusable one. There's so many reusable straw options, such as this stainless steel one. You can bring it along your zero waste pack, and then you can always have an option there. There's no need for plastic straws. It is an indulgent luxury that we can give up as part of Plastic Free July. Now, in my zero waste kit, I also have two other things that I like to bring. Firstly, a cloth napkin, because there's so much paper waste that goes onto napkins, and this is a simple way to reduce that, and also allows you to wrap things like pastries and whatnot when you're out and about. And also, I like to bring my own spoon, fork, and knife in one. So it's a spork. And this is a handy little takeaway option, so that when you can say no to take away plastic forks and spoons, you can bring your own. Okay. All this goes in my handy little zero waste kit, like I say, and it can be transferred from bag to bag to bag. So that's an easy way to reduce your waste when you're out and about. Okay. So that brings me to the end of my webinar. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will answer them now. And I am conscious of the time, so I will only answer a handful of questions, but please let me know if you have any options or any questions for me at this point in time. You can just put it in the chat below. No one's coming with any questions at the moment. I don't know if everyone's shy or, okay, here we go. Do you have any recommendations for bars and soaps and shampoo? Personally, I don't like shea butter, coconut oil, fragrances, any fragrance-free cruelty options. Yeah, so there's a break brand called, I don't like to promote brands, but I will in this one. There's one called Ethique, ETHIQUE, and it is a great Australian brand that has a lot of fragrance-free options that actually work. So I suggest you have a look in there. Vivian asks, was the Miracle Oil Cleanser 1/3? Yeah, it's 1/3 jojoba oil, and then fill it up with avocado oil or hemp oil as you see fit. Anne says, sadly, with COVID, a lot of places, including airlines, are reluctant to fill reusable cups. And yes, that's true. But what I can continue saying is, if we keep still being a voice of advocacy, keep being an everyday activist, and keep questioning that and making those changes and actually forcing them to reflect on it, there will be a cumulative change in the long run. And we can see that now with Plastic Free July, even in Australia, that's ramping up again as people go out into the world more and have these conversations again. Okay. I'm going to answer one final question, and that is, okay, I'm going to answer the one about young children and waste, particularly food waste, because I have a young toddler, a 3-year-old, Vivian. So in my book, A Zero Waste Family, I talk about tips and tricks on how to encourage young people and also different ages to reduce their waste. In terms of food waste, what I like to say to my daughter is, let's save this for later. So if she doesn't eat something now, what I do now is put it in a container, and I call it the save it for later container. I say, so when she wants another snack, I go to the save it for later container and go there. I also am very conscious that parents end up eating a lot of the, food waste as well. And also, if you have pets, you can feed it to them. But ultimately, it's about educating young people that where their food comes from, it doesn't just come miraculously from the supermarket. There's a growth process. So you can talk about having a fun game, such as, where does my food come from? And I do that with my daughter a lot. We look at an element and say broccoli or rice, and we talk about how's it grown, where's it shown? And as they get older, you can incorporate YouTube videos or educational videos to let them know, or even go out to farms or farmers markets itself to educate them that food doesn't just come from the supermarket. Okay. And that's it. That's my half an hour there. And I thank you everyone for attending. And I wish you all the best for your plastic-free July journey. And once again, I want to say small changes can make a big cumulative difference, and that sustainability has to be sustainable for you. So just do what you can and just leave a gentler footprint on the planet. Thank you. Bye.